Drink Cinema! Cheers.
Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. We are 2 out of 3 brothers reviewing movies 2 drinks at a time. This week we are reviewing 2 movies.
2 movies, 2 cocktails, 2 drinks, 2 cinemas.
Separate episodes, but we have 2 movies for you this week. Hello, Brett. How are you?
I am good, Lee. How are you?
I am good, but I am not. But I am good.
I must, but I cannot.
am not.
Oh, God, this movie is bad.
Okay, so we are reviewing Robot Monster, or Robot Monster, if you talked about robots in the 50s. It is 70 years old this year, and my husband, because he knows how much I like the movie, found on Kickstarter a 70th anniversary remaster of the movie in original 3D.
Ooh.
Which is very exciting. So I've been trying to get this on the list all year. And so we've just kind of
Finally caved in.
shoved it onto the end of Halloween because The Land Before Time only goes for an hour and 7 minutes and Robot Monster only goes for an hour and 9 minutes.
Yes.
So it's like one movie.
So it's like, yeah, pretty much.
So Robot Monster, 1953. Moon monsters launch attack against Earth is the tagline.
Okay.
Which I was thinking, like,
Is that right? Yeah.
the moon, like,
Do they say they're from the moon?
no.
Okay, good.
But
So I was like, did I miss a scene?
They say
Like-
they're from the planet Roman.
Yeah.
They're like what, if you are a sci-fi fan or if you've watched any Star Trek, the Borg is like one thing from the planet Borg.
Yeah.
They're like that, but pre-Star Trek.
Yeah.
But it just shows, like the 50s, the moon was still so far away.
Yeah.
Like, people had no idea what was on the moon.
Yep.
15 years later, they discovered it was nothing. But
Or didn't they?
they could, well, in the Hollywood studio where they filmed it, they could convince people that there were scary monsters on the moon
Yeah.
in the early 50s.
Yeah.
It's interesting movie.
Oh, look, and you know what we're going to need to get through it?
A drink.
A drink. That could be just as bad as the movie.
Okay.
Look, I have based this off a cocktail that I found called a Dirty Robot.
Okay.
Because, hey, he's a little bit dirty.
Why do you call me at this time?
Call me later. Show me the girl Alice again. Now show me with her clothes off.
Before we go any further, the movie only goes for an hour.
Yeah.
If you have not seen it, there is a link to it on YouTube. It's past the point of having to pay for it.
Uh-huh.
There is a link to it on YouTube. It'll only take an hour of your life. We highly recommend this movie.
Yes.
And so please watch it so that you can enjoy this episode. We'll be here when you get back.
Yeah.
Because that's how podcasts work.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah.
So, this is my cocktail that I've made up called Great Guidance.
Great guidance. Yes.
And 'cause-
Great guidance.
Yeah.
Have you calculated the ingredients? What have you calculated as the ingredients of this cocktail?
Well, there's plenty of bubbles.
Yes.
'Cause it's got soda water in it.
Yep.
And then it's got Southern Comfort,
Okay.
rum.
I assume it's sitting somewhere in the south. There's a canyon.
It's a rocky picnic area.
Yep.
Rum, grenadine, and lime juice.
Okay.
Just a touch of the lime juice. Yeah,
It does have bubbles.
so
Cheers.
cheers.
Oh, we
Let's
dropped that
see
in?
How we
Yep.
go. Oh, I did. Why not?
Nope.
Oop, no. Shit.
What do we have on the shelf that
Future-
can make it better?
Oh, fuck, thanks. Vodka, lots and lots of vodka. For future reference, anybody listening, grenadine and Southern Comfort, not great.
They're just not it's not a strong flavour.
Well, I think the soda water. Well, actually, let me
soda
have a-
water
let me
has
have
no
a sip,
flavour.
let me have a sip.
Nah.
It tastes almost medicine-y.
It's got about as much flavour as Slick Slavin.
Jesus Christ.
Can I talk about that?
Yeah, talk about Slick Slavin, please.
So if you've watched this on the YouTube, you won't have probably seen this, but I'll link also to this on YouTube. Slick Slavin was a 1950s American vocalist, songwriter, actor, nightclub comic, television writer, and author.
Oh,
Okay.
Slick Slavin.
He was born Trustin Howard.
So Slick Slavin isn't a character of Trustin Howard.
Slick Slavin is a character of Trustin Howard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was born, Howard Trustin Slavin
Jesus. So it's
in
just
Chicago, Illinois, and
just his
then
name.
changed his actor name to Trustin Howard, but then Slick Slavin was his nightclub singer personality.
Okay, right. I think I'm following you.
Not nightclub singer like we think about these days. It's either a drag
Jessica
queen
Rabbit.
or whoever just got rejected from Big Brother.
Oh,
Like not that
Kate
kind
Capshaw.
of nightclub. Yeah, not
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, like a bit cabaret nightclub.
Yeah.
in the 50s. So
Like Frank
For s-
Sinatra Jr. when he's on Family Guy and him and Stewie and Brian open a Italian restaurant where they sing.
okay, sure. I would like to know the thinking behind putting a close to 10-minute cabaret spot on before a horror sci-fi film in 1953.
They didn't have
Because
previews.
what it is, 3D was reasonably new, so I feel like this was a bit of like, hey, watch this guy just be in 3D for a second and get used to it.
Yeah.
But what it is him doing a song, and during the song impersonates Hollywood men.
Yep.
So Jimmy Cagney, Cary Grant, Humphrey Bogart,
James Stewart was in
James
there.
Stewart, and a couple of others.
Peter Lorre, which wasn't that great.
No.
Because he's really easy. That wasn't great either, but I'm not Thurston
And-
Howell III or whatever his name was. What was his name?
Trustin Howard.
No, okay.
And in keeping with the low budget of Robot Monster, this was filmed outside in front of a quilt.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Was it actually? Because that's what it looked like.
it was.
Oh, okay.
And you know how I worked out? It was just they stuck a couple of cameras outside a soundstage and pressed record. Not pressed record.
Yeah.
Started the film winding.
Yeah.
We both looked at each other and was like, what the fuck is going on here? When there was a random shot of a plane flying overhead. Then when it went back to him, you could still hear the plane. So that
didn't
plane that
notice
they
that.
randomly cut to was literally,
no.
they were outside and a plane flew overhead,
Yeah.
but they could only do one take. So Trustin Howard, Slick Slavin, made a joke about the plane and then kept singing his song.
Yeah. I am so by you.
I'm going to find it on YouTube and link to it in the episode description because that, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody listening, was the opening to Robot Monster if you went to see it at the cinema in 1953.
And if you got through that, you were in for a treat.
Yeah.
Which a few people did. It made
Yeah.
$1 million.
Off a...
$16,000 budget.
Yeah, yeah. You couldn't make a movie for $16,000 these days.
You couldn't do anything for $16,000 these days.
Can't
I mean you
pay
could,
your rent.
Yeah, you could for a beer.
Yeah. Anyway.
Um,
So,
yeah.
the restoration
God.
that I watched is actually very good. Like,
Yeah.
they've scanned the 35mm negatives again and done a full restoration of it. It actually looks really good, better than you will have watched it on YouTube. My apologies.
Well, you know what doesn't help as well? Ads.
Oh, true. True.
I was like, what? Oh, fucking ads.
Yeah, YouTube ads. So, one more thing about the Slick Slavin. I was thinking, like, he keeps looking down during the song. I'm like, are there words underneath?
He's checking the words.
But then I remembered, in those old theatres, it's like a
Stage.
theatre. So the screen is up and you are sitting down, not like these days where you are up, stadium style,
Yeah.
and the screen is down. So that I thought was an interesting thing of the time.
Speaking of that, we need to go to the Astor again.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we'll do that.
Cool.
So then, now, on with the show, as Slick Slavin says,
Can
not in
I-
a Bugs Bunny kind of way.
Do
But he
you
says
think that there were a couple of people that were a little bit embarrassed to be associated with this movie, so made up names?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the writer Wyatt Ordung and one of the producers, Al Zimbalist.
Very interesting. But getting into the story, right?
It shouldn't take long.
Straight away, the 50s, such a different time. You can just let your children play in a canyon unsupervised.
Yeah. Walk up to
Just walk up to strangers.
two strangers that are digging, not even digging, just chipping away at a cave and go, you need to die.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Then the old man just gets the boy to sit on his lap. Yeah, no issues there.
Nope.
The son, so then the ladies come and find the son, and the younger son says to the scientist, "This is my sister. Bet you'd like her."
Yeah.
Then
Are we still giving away horny points?
Then they go back
This is
to
off the
their
charts.
picnic spot. Why the fuck would you have a picnic there?
What? Okay. Surely there is a flatter surface that isn't rocky.
But like
And also,
at the bottom of a ravine.
if you're going to have a nap after it,
Yeah.
which I don't know if it's real or not, like maybe a bit more comfortable area, a bit of shade.
A cushion?
Like there was, at one stage when Roman was tiptoeing up a hill, there was some nice grassy areas that
Yes.
they could have picnicked
Yes.
on.
But instead they're at the bottom of a ravine on the rocks having a picnic. And that's when the son asks another one of his pretentious questions. Are we ever going to have a new dad around the house?
Mum, you're not doing a good enough job. We need a dad.
Yeah.
This is so written by a man.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Then
Well, it's the 50s. So.
they go down to have their nap and not
Yeah.
Donald Duck.
I was going to say that sounded like Donald Duck. He did make an appearance in the montage of things fighting each other.
Yeah, he did. He was attached to Bugs Bunny and rolled around on the dirt for a bit.
That means something bad is happening. And
Lightning.
also, woo,
And the flashing.
and the
right?
flashing and bubbles.
Which I can imagine in 1953,
In 3D. Did that look good in 3D?
quite effective. Quite effective.
When I was watching it on YouTube on a Sunday afternoon, it didn't quite have
Even
that.
the baby crocodile with the fin super glued to its back looked very effective at fighting with that random lizard. I don't get why this scene is in at this point of the movie, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
are we being forced to time travel back through dinosaur times to, as the German doctor says, the time before people could read or write, right?
Yes.
Odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're not, because when Roman starts to talk, he says they had their atomic weapons. So we're in the now time.
It's modern. It's a
Yeah.
modern thing.
So anyway, that
but then the flashy somehow represents dinosaurs.
zappity time flashing negative happens, right?
Is that just happening in the kid's head?
Then the bubble machine is on.
Love it.
The bunny ears are on a radio.
Love it.
And there's a mirror with a couple of lights around it.
And then out walks the monster in his
Out
gorilla
walks
suit with a
the
diving
monster.
helmet on.
Gorilla and a cardboard, not actually a diving helmet.
No.
A paper mache diving helmet in which is the face with a stocking over it. That is our antagonist, folks.
Love it.
But
Do you remember once
going
there
to-
was a Halloween or it was some party we were going to go, as it was a dress-up party, and you really wanted to go as Roman.
I did really want to go as
And it was
Roman.
just like, I just need a gorilla suit,
Yeah.
and I can make a helmet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Lee, nobody will get it.
Doesn't matter. I should have gone this year so I can promote this podcast. At the Halloween party I went to recently, they did a horror movie quiz. And every answer that was a movie that we'd done, I was like, reviewed on Two Drink Cinema. Yeah. Everybody should listen to Two Drink Cinema.
Somebody was at work the other day was like, I watched Halloween the other day. I'm like, oh, but so did I.
Yeah. The first question was something and the answer was The Exorcist. I'm like, this episode came out yesterday. Everybody should listen.
And I was like, well, I don't find horror movies scary because I'm a sociopath. And then
Yeah.
I was like, yep.
Yeah. Follow us on TikTok. That's where we have done that diagnosis. I'm going to give it one positive for this
We're
section.
going to say star then.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
The script of this isn't that bad. Of Roman explaining to Great Guidance how he has killed most of the humans.
Yeah, with his death ray.
Yeah, like
calcinator ray.
It gets to the point, and it's like Earth is our only rival, and explains how we're in this time where they're the only people left, and Roman is trying to wipe out all the humans. It does that without being clunky and too much clunky exposition,
Yeah.
which I liked. The rest of the script, not so good. We're getting told at this point just the things that have happened,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Was the flashy them dying? The Earth dying?
Could have been.
But then why do we need a lizard
stop
finding a
motion
baby alligator
Triceratops?
with a fin stuck to it?
Yeah. And a
Anyway.
volcano.
And then, Triceratops.
Stop motion Triceratops, which
Yeah.
would have been impressive in the 50s.
Stop trying to...
Why the fuck would either the kid or Roy go to the cave?
to kill him. We could just kill him, Dad. That's what the kid said at one point.
Yeah.
Maybe we could kill him, hey, Pa?
They could. No, he is impervious to everything. But also,
But he's weakening.
thanks to the antibiotics,
Yeah.
they are also impervious to the calcinator death ray.
Thanks to a certain vaccination they got
Yeah.
for polio at the time. I'm trying to think of something that was in the 50s.
Maybe that vaccine is why the daughter looks like that.
Which one?
The young one with the face.
She didn't react well to the thing.
So we find out that the antibiotics and the little zaps passing between the wires around what they call a house is the reason that Roman can't find them or kill them.
Yeah.
Then this is the point where Brett obviously has gone, this film was written by a man. Roy comes back and says, "You're so bossy, you ought to be milked before you come home at night." Then
And then she goes, "Oh, well."
And then, as they're trying to rewire the view screen, he says, "You're either too beautiful to be so smart or too smart to be so beautiful." And then that's when she falls in love with him.
Yeah, she's like, "We did get along, didn't we? Maybe we should get married later when you've got your shirt off."
Maybe we should have sex in the random ravine.
Yeah.
Google just piped up, is interested in sex in the random ravine.
Sex in the ravine. Adam Ravine.
Google's like, yes, please. It's interesting that the mum is a mum, right? And just
The mum's a grandma.
yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about that. But Alice
Yeah.
is a woman in the 50s,
Yes.
right? But has a job and has a purpose and he's very intelligent, but that doesn't stop Roy from saying, "You're so bossy, you ought to be milked before you
Yeah.
come home at night." It's really odd. Then we get to some of the best special effects, right? Because Roy is like, we've got a rocket with these two other random guys that are going to fly with the Moderna to the space platform, right? The space platform is a kid's toy plane stuck on a
pedal.
chopstick
Yeah.
and a sparkler shoved up its clacker. And the space platform, I don't know about space travel, right? And I don't know about orbit, but it's moving very quickly above the Earth and a lot, burning probably excess fuel that it shouldn't need to burn with that sparkler up it. And it's going zhoo. Then a stock footage of a rocket represents these two guys taking the vaccine up to the space platform, but Roman finds out. And Great Guidance sticks his fingers out and puts the calcinator death ray on from the moon or Roman
Through his hands.
through his hands.
Like the Emperor in Star Wars.
Yep, that's where George Lucas got it from.
Yep.
And zaps the rocket. Then, just as it goes...
That's much better.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Just as it goes... we see the guy's hand holding up the space platform.
And I remember that being visible. So when that happened, I was like, "Oh my God, you can see a hand soon." There it is. Yeah.
And when we first saw this, it was on the, as they call it, and it's true, the Astor Super Screen. So that hand was huge.
Yeah, it was the size
And
of a building.
everybody laughed.
Yeah. I loved when they did that, the Astor. They did this with Plan 9 from Outer
And Night from Outer
Space.
Space, so good.
The one that worked.
Then we're back in what they call a house. And
What they call a... Let's find a location to film in. This can be a house.
Yeah.
It's got somewhat walls.
it looks like nobody's going to charge us anything to be here.
Yeah, and we can put some barbed wire around it and claim that as a shield.
The randomly German father
Uh-huh.
and the mother have been together for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
23 years.
23 years.
How old do we reckon that makes Alice?
20...
She definitely
20
looks older than 23.
She looks 22 and 9 months.
Yeah. Shotgun.
That doesn't... Well, they had to try repopulate the planet. Oh, no, that's why they had the 2 kids.
Yeah, but they're very old, the parents. Anyway,
They are. It was weird casting for me.
they contact Roman to try and strike a deal.
Yeah.
And-
We'll go peacefully.
Carla just looks like this.
Fucking Carla.
Then Alice wants to go, and so they just tie her up.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not going, I'm going to tie you up. And then they're so busy tying Alice up that Johnny just runs off.
yeah,
Again.
idiot.
And the dad goes, oh, basically, what a fucked up family I have. This one wants to leave. This one keeps running off. This
one's
one
Carla.
looks like she's shitting herself all the time. What a fucking family I have. And my wife is old. For a short movie,
Yep.
so Roman comes out to look for them, to meet them.
And goes,
But for a movie that's an hour and 7 minutes or whatever it is, they spend a lot of time filming Roman walking up a hill.
I love it, Lee. I'm like, he's getting a calf workout. He's on his tippy toes.
Can he not move his arms in the costume, do you think? Or is that a
I'm-
look?
I'm going to assume that he can't move his arms in the costume.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's, I loved it. Just the image of him tiptoeing up the side of a hill like Kate Bush. Like, my gosh. Tiptoeing up that hill to make a deal with a German.
To make a deal with Johnny. Because he meets Johnny,
Yeah.
and Johnny just looks over a wall of what could be another house.
But I can't, literally this far away
Yeah.
from that we are, but I can't reach
And
you.
he tries to reach, can't reach, also can't run away, chase him after run.
No.
Johnny gives it everything away
Well, yeah.
and runs off.
And then
so he just
but
goes
he does this. Oh!
and then stops. And then he realizes that he's given it all away. So Johnny runs away. Roman tries to chase him, but he can't. So he just
calf's
stands
hurt.
there,
He didn't
shakes
do
his
his leg day.
fist, and walks off.
Yeah.
Roy, while Roy and Alice are out looking for Johnny, just takes his shirt off. Mm-hmm. And then they have sex amongst
bush.
the bushes.
Yeah.
We watched this, I reckon we watched this last year, but we didn't review it. I've watched this recently.
Yeah.
The not sex scene,
Then
did it go for very long in your version?
No.
Because
No, they were talking and then he had his shirt off and then they cut to something else. Did they cut to Johnny coming home?
Johnny coming home and Roman walking up the hill.
And then it cut back to them and they were like, let's go home.
No, in this full version, it's longer.
Oh.
It's 2 movies in a row where I watched the director's cut, obviously, if this movie had a director. It's weird because there's like them looking at each other and it's a bit panto or silent film. They're not
Yeah.
talking, saying things, and she keeps trying to look away and he very awkwardly keeps kind of pulling her head back towards him.
Yep.
Then it cuts to Roman walking up the hill. Yeah. Then it cuts back to them.
Hectic xylophone.
And
Yes,
it's
it was
violin.
doing that. Violin, xylophone. Violin,
Yeah.
xylophone.
Yeah. Okay, so it was longer for yours then.
Yeah. I think by that point I'd kind of tuned out.
And then they have sex, presumably.
They do.
They get back to
the
what
mum
they
knows as well.
They get back to what they call a house, and Johnny goes, "What have you been doing?" And then the mum goes, isn't it obvious? I've got sex here, and he still doesn't have a shirt on.
Yeah. And then he goes, let's get married with my shirt off still.
Well, she puts a veil on, and he's still shirtless. 50s.
And she's wearing white, which she shouldn't be anymore.
They were so distracted by the wedding that Carla just runs off.
Fucking Carl. Like, the dad's right.
Yeah.
Like, this family's fucking stupid.
Yeah. I wrote in my notes, Alice and I want to get married. And I wrote, why? It seems so stupid in the movie just to, like, stop for a wedding.
Because we need more romance in this
Well,
movie.
then I wrote, every sci-fi action movie has some random stop for love.
Does Plan 9? Oh, the roses of the cheeks of her,
Yeah.
the planted
Yep.
of the father of the daughter's son. Yeah.
The roses that she planted in her garden remind him only of the roses in her cheeks. Or something.
No, the rose that she had planted with her hands. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
All right, I'm going... Well, I think I've...
That's it. That's the end of the movie, isn't it?
Well, just about. So they get married. Carla just stands there and waits for Roman to kill her
Yes.
because she's an idiot. But she's just dead. Then he throws Roy off a cliff once Roy and Alice find him because they go on a honeymoon. What the fuck?
Where are they going?
Niagara Falls?
Which I think is nowhere near where they are. This is
No.
like California.
That's where Superman and Margot Kidder go.
In the second one, apparently.
Yeah, which I thought was the first one. Alice gets kidnapped by Roman.
And then she puts up a bit of a struggle, but then she's like, "Ugh, whatever.
But then she
I'm tired
turns
from sex.
flirty very quickly.
She goes,
Then she's like, ooh, show me your energy source, baby. And then he's like, no, the phone's ringing.
oh.
I'm gonna
Look at the phone. Look at the girl.
Yeah.
Look at the phone. Look at the girl.
Then he gets the rope.
I'll tie her up. Oh, this is taking too long.
Yep.
Let me just knock her unconscious
That's-
and then answer the phone.
One of my favourite bits. And then, why do you call me at this time? The great guidance is cock blocking Roman.
Call me later.
Call me at some other time. But great guidance doesn't take no for an answer,
And he says,
much like Roy.
you're sounding like a human, not a Roman.
Not a Roman. Then
Racism.
he tries to convince Roman to let one human live.
Yeah, so we can...
Then great guidance is like, no, ends the call. End the humans or I'll end you.
Yep.
Then my favourite line. To laugh, feel, want. Why are these things not in the plan? At what point on the graph do must and cannot meet? I must, yet I cannot.
How do you calculate that?
That whole, he goes, I must,
What a
yet I
monologue.
cannot. At what point on the graph do must and cannot meet?
What graph, mate? What graph are you making? Some sort of like...
The calculation graph.
The calculation of where science and love meet.
Yep, that's what he's looking for. But
But he just found that emotion. He's never had that emotion before.
by now, great guidance has had enough,
Great Guns is like,
and he's just like, "Fuck this, bitch." Ends the
why,
world.
if you can't do it yourself, come
Yeah,
on.
can't get good help,
Good help
these
is hard
days.
to find.
And he zaps the whole of the earth, and the crocodile fights the lizard again, and the triceratops stop motion fight again.
And there's prehistoric reptiles and an armadillo. And
a volcanic eruption.
a volcanic eruption, and then Johnny wakes up.
And it was all a dream. And you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
And then they end
And
up...
unfortunately,
But, yeah.
Johnny did not have the career of Judy Garland.
Yeah. And still in real life, Alice and Roy went off to have sex.
Yeah.
And Carla didn't die.
Do we think that the German doctor joins the family? Because Johnny wants a new dad
I reckon they all then go live together.
in the house in the ravine.
No, but in like in a real
In a
house.
real house. Do you think this is very against type for a child of a single mum? Right.
Yeah.
In most media, the child of the mum is like, you're not my real dad.
Yeah.
Whereas in
yeah.
this, he's like, oi, give me a bloody dad already.
Give me your dad. I want to sit on his lap.
Yeah, I want to sit on this random German's lap in a cave. What I liked from the very start is Alice and the mum, before the dream starts, Alice and the mum are looking, and Johnny's just like, I'm here in the cave. Like, that's just a normal place for an 8-year-old boy to be.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're here in the cave. Of course you are. Why? Where else would you be?
What a little shit.
Go to a park with a playground.
Go to a park with grass. If you're going to have a picnic, go to a park with grass.
So that is Robot Monster.
That's like me going to, I'm going to go to a picnic
Yep.
and I won't go to Footscray Park. I'll sit on Ballarat Road.
So let's go to the old quarry.
Yeah, let's go to the tip instead.
It's like, yeah, things that are close. It's like, instead of going to Brimbank Park, I'll just go a little bit further up Keilor Park Drive and sit in the old quarry in Keilor.
Yeah.
Idiots. Maybe I'll find a Roman and or a husband.
Yeah.
All
How
right.
do you calculate that?
How do you calculate that? That is not in the plan. Not doing bad on the impersonations. Accidental Donald
after you-
Duck
Donald
and
Duck.
Roman.
Yeah.
So that is the story of Robot Monster. In terms of tropes, it kind of fits.
I think
B
50s
grade-
very just
Yep.
from something to do with space. And space is bad.
Well, space was the thing. It was the new thing, and they often say about sci-fi stories is you set it just ahead. It's most effective when you set it not far ahead of where science fact is. So space exploration was a new thing. They were already sending people to space in the early 50s, or they were about to. I don't know my history that well. And so our knowledge of the universe was expanding.
Yep.
And so things scary could be in this unknown universe.
Yep.
Like now they've got the movie The Meg, because we're starting to understand what's going on in the deep water. So
Liam,
Jason Statham's going to fight a big shark.
Liam, if you're listening, you finally got a Meg shout out. He fucking loves that movie because of how terrible it is. We tried to watch it once, we couldn't get through it.
All right. What is the impact
Should we do some awards?
Look,
There was surprisingly a few things. Look,
Yeah.
its biggest impact is that it's a cult thing now. But the fact that it is now one of these movies that is so bad,
yep.
it is remembered for being so bad,
Yes. Great.
which is correct.
Like Plan 9 from
Plan
Outer
9
Space
from
that
Outer
I'm
Space.
wearing, and The Shining like you are wearing.
The Shining's good.
No, I know.
A scene from this film was used in the Cars music video for the song You Might Think. In Power Rangers Zeo episode Invasion of the Ranger Snatchers, a Roman costume can be seen.
Fantastic.
In the Rocco's Modern Life episode Popcorn Pandemonium, Rocco and Heather watch an old movie and Roman is in it.
Oh, okay.
The film was featured in a 1986 episode of the Cannes Film Festival, which is a comedy, like, motion picture TV series that was on, like, late night US television. It did one season in 1986.
Yeah, right.
And I think it was just like, obviously took a name from Cannes Film Festival. And it was just like, we're going to show you shit movies.
Great.
I wish it would come back.
Let's do it.
Yeah. In the 2010 animated film Megamind, the character Minion, voiced by David Cross,
Yep.
resembles Roman.
Okay.
This is maybe a bit of a stretch, some of these. And that's about it.
Wow.
It made $1 million from a $16,000 budget. That is a box office success.
That's pretty good.
Like, if I could turn $16,000 into $1 million, I'd be pretty happy with that.
That's true.
And that's now.
For
not
4
50
days'
years
work.
ago. 70 years ago. Yeah, for 4 days. How they filmed? Well, it shows that they filmed this in 4 days.
Yeah. By the fact that they used the
And one of those was making the Bubble Master 3000 or whatever.
Bubble Master 3000.
What was it called?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see. Something worth $1 million.
Billion Bubble Machine.
1953
it was
would in
called.
2023. Oh, okay. That doesn't help me. Reserve Bank of Australia.
The film holds a 36% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty high, based on 14 reviews.
Oh, okay.
That's not many.
Do you want to know how much $1 million in money would be worth now?
7.5.
1953. If in 1953 $1 million would be worth now $11.5 million
Jesus.
off a $16,000 budget, $184,000 budget. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you made a $184,000 movie and it took $16 million at the box office, you'd go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
I don't mind that Roman has one scene used 5 times in the film.
Yep.
I must, yet I cannot.
How do you calculate that?
Shall we calculate some awards?
Okay, yes. Look. There aren't really any extras.
All right, so I'm going to give okay. So there's
I have a
two
nomination for my
extras.
worst extra. Yep.
I'm going to say both of these extras,
Uh-huh.
and then we can decide who's the best and worst.
Okay.
All right? Carla
Yep. Yeah.
is
yeah.
one of them.
I think
The
I know
other
where
one-
you're leading.
Is the guy walking across the top of the hill in the background of the shot that isn't meant to be there.
Oh my God, I missed that.
I thought you knew about that one.
Maybe I had seen it before. I didn't notice it this time. Maybe that's
Can
when I was in
I
the toilet.
guess yours?
Yeah.
The guy holding up the stick of their space walker?
No. Carla
Yep.
is my nomination for worst extra.
Yeah, okay.
And my best extra nomination, I'm skipping ahead, is for
Great guidance.
the dinosaur, and by dinosaur I mean the alligator with the fin stuck on its back.
Is it is also this is a hand you can't see, right? This is a hand you can't see, but it's obvious that someone is holding the tail of that alligator and turning them around so they look like they're fighting. Can I nominate
poor
that guy?
animals.
Oh, no, that's best production assistant.
Best boy.
Best boy. Best
Key
boy
grip,
had
'cause you have to have it,
had to
yep.
grip it. Yep.
Can we give worst extra to Carla?
Okay, worst extra to Carla. Does that mean the guy walking along the top of the hill is best extra? All right. Worst extra is Carla. Best extra is the crocodile. Or alligator. I
It's
didn't
a
look that
dinosaur,
closely.
Lee. It's a very rare dinosaur.
Crocodile with fin / dinosaur. Or is it the armadillo?
Armadillo. Can it be the armadillo, actually? That's great.
So the Andy Millman from Ricky Gervais's Extras worst extra goes to Carla. And
Which is pretty stiff, but she's terrible. It's
Yeah.
basically... We may as well change it from worst extra to worst character,
yeah, okay.
basically.
And the Estelle Reiner Best Extra Award goes to the crocodile with the fin.
He gets a lot of screen... He probably gets more screen time than Carla.
Yeah, more screen
So-
time. He's more expressive than Carla. That shot where they roll the lizard off and he just sits there and goes, ah.
What do I do now?
So maybe he is also Best Extra because we do like... If he was a human, not a human,
Yeah.
a human,
He'd be going, ah!
no, he'd be one of the ones that are like, yeah.
Yeah! Because
Yeah.
he beat the lizard.
Yeah, we love
So
a
it'd be like,
guy.
yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Halle Berry
Look,
X-Men
okay, you
Worst
ready?
Line Award.
You ready?
I've got, are we ever going to get a new dad around the house?
I've
Yep.
got, bet you'd like her.
Yes. Those two, you're so bossy, you need to be milked
You're
before
so
you come
bossy,
home at
you
night.
ought to be milked before you come home at night.
Yes.
I also wrote, Johnny says to Roman, you looked like a pooped out pinwheel.
Yes. The doctor says if Roman wants
No,
us,
okay.
he should calculate us.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I had something from the dad as well. Carla dies.
Yeah.
And he's like, we enjoyed her as long as she was with us.
She's 6.
That was basically her eulogy. That was just, oh. We enjoyed her as long as she was with us. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, they move on quicker from her death than they do from the wedding.
Yes.
Like the funeral is shorter
They
than
didn't
the
have
wedding.
they didn't have a funeral. They had a fucking honeymoon though.
I wrote this, but I regret it because I want to move it into best line. I
There is
must,
no best
but I
line,
cannot.
but-
How do you calculate that?
My best line, even though that's not a category, my best line is you're thinking like a Who-man, not a Ro-man.
Yeah, that's true. At what point on the graph? No. So what's the worst line?
I think it's you're so bossy, you ought to be milked before you come home at night.
Yeah.
One,
Okay.
sexist. Two, that's not a phrase.
Yeah.
That's not like a
Could have been in the
saying.
50s.
So cow's bossy? What does that mean?
I don't know.
God.
The I Am Your Father most iconic scene.
Okay.
It's far from an iconic movie,
Yeah.
but I am nominating him standing in the cave entrance with the bubble machine going.
Yeah. I am nominating the dinosaur fighting scene. And to be clear, I mean the scene where the lizard fights an alligator with a fin stuck on its back.
Not the Triceratops stop
Not the
motion.
Triceratops, but I'll chuck in a bonus point for an armadillo.
Is another iconic scene...
A shirtless wedding. How many movies have a shirtless wedding?
True. Him standing at the view screen and the light from the view screen comes from behind the view screen.
Yes.
Behind the bit of cardboard.
I think that the first time you kind of see Roman come out of the cave and the bubbles are going and everything, that's pretty iconic,
All right.
even though it wasn't on my list.
And the music. Dung, dung,
I will say
dung.
the music's okay.
Decent music. Yep.
Yeah. I tell you what, that xylophone player worked overtime. I hope he got paid the majority of the $16,000.
We only played it once, and then they just used it 18 times.
But it's bloody good.
Yeah.
It's good.
A lot of xylophone in 50s sci-fi.
Yeah, it was a hip new thing, xylophones.
Wasn't. One thing about this movie, I was chatting to a friend about the fact that I was watching it and that it's 70 years old. And he's like, oh, I don't think I've ever watched a movie that old.
You have.
I know. And I said straight away, Wizard of Oz? He goes, yeah. I said, that's 1939.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Snow White.
So when you think like the Wizard of Oz 1939, watch that with Robot Monster 1953.
Yeah.
It's not so much an advancement in technology. It's just money
Yeah.
and putting more effort and production value. Shall we do a top 5?
We shall.
Because we are reviewing Robot Monster
Uh-huh.
this week for Two Drink Cinema, we are going to do a top 5 movies that are so bad they're good.
Yes.
And this was tricky.
It was tricky because I looked up lists and I'm like, I know these movies are bad.
The Room.
Like that. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So I can't put that on my list.
There were some that came up a lot on lists, like Elf, The Elves, Troll 2,
Troll 2,
The Room, we've said.
that one Battleship Earth or something.
Battlefield Earth with John Travolta.
Thanos, the Hands of Fate, or not
Yeah,
Thanos.
Manos, The Hands of Fate,
Yeah,
1966.
Which I was like, I'm pretty sure they got referenced in a Family Guy episode
That's
or something.
topped a lot of lists.
That's
I
like,
looked at.
well, it's got 0. It's a 0%
Yeah,
approval
yeah.
rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm going to start with one that might be controversial. So
Yes.
controversial that I put a question mark after it when I typed the list in.
Uh-huh.
Flash Gordon.
Okay, I haven't
It's not a
seen
great
that.
movie, but I really like it.
Okay. I have something that could be controversial.
Okay.
It is a classic.
Yeah.
It's part of my childhood. We watched it early on in our Two Drink Cinemas. Spice World.
That featured on a lot of lists too, and I was going to give that an honourable mention.
It's bad,
I don't think it's meant to be good, though.
but it's enjoyable because it's camp.
Yeah, but I don't think it's meant to be good.
No.
Like, it's meant to be bad camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was an honourable mention for me, Spice World.
Okay. I'll say my honourable...
Spice World was our one attempt at a watch-along episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go well for us and or the listeners. Do you want my number 4?
Please.
It's got an 11% rating on Rotten Tomatoes,
Is it burlesque?
but I really like it.
Oh, okay.
Batman and Robin.
Okay.
It is, again, camp. And I'm pretty sure I've said it before on the podcast. If you made the 2 Tim Burtons and went, that's 2 movies. And then you made the 2 other ones.
Yeah, the
and went,
Schumachers.
that's 2 movies.
Yeah.
People would go, okay, this one's the camp one. This one's the dark one.
Yeah.
And then we have now Robert Pattinson. I like Batman and Robin for its campness, and I think if you're a fan of 60s Batman, you're a fan of Batman
much
Forever
more-
and Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
And Schumacher has said that. Like, we were trying to do a bit of an homage to the campness of the 60s Batman. It's just that it happened to follow a better director in Tim Burton and a darker theme, because Batman Returns is much darker than Batman. So that's my number 4, Batman and Robin.
My number 4 is Mummy Dearest.
Featured on a lot of lists. I haven't seen it.
The other one that's featured on a lot of lists that I haven't seen, but I really need to see, is Showgirls.
Yeah.
So
And Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. That's just, I can't watch that because that's Family Guy.
Okay.
Mummy Dearest, camp as camp can get, overacting to the nth degree by Faye Dunaway,
Yep.
and has provided a lot to popular culture. No more wire hangers, yada, yada, yada.
Yes. All right. Number 3. Sharknado.
Okay, so Sharknado for me is an honourable mention
Oh, okay.
because it's a TV movie.
Nah, it's a movie. So I like Batman and Robin more.
But
But
it's
I
a
think
better movie.
Sharknado is badder. So it's upper in the list.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, my number 3 is Batman and Robin.
Okay.
So
Good.
I think we can guess each other's top 2.
I still freeze you. Are our 2 and 1...
What's the other one who goes?
Poison Ivy has a good one too, but I can't remember it.
She has a lot of good ones.
She says something like Mother Nature's a bitch or something.
She's actually kind of good in it. Uma
And so
Thurman.
they all are in that role of campness.
The Iceman cometh or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. That wasn't great.
Number
Okay.
2 and 1.
Number 2.
Are they the same?
They're the same 2 movies.
Are they the same order?
I think potentially.
I'm pretty sure we both have number 2,
Yeah.
Robot Monster.
Yes.
Okay.
We do.
Good.
Yeah. And then number 1
Yep.
is Back to the Future 2. No. Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
We are reviewing that next year.
We've
sure.
already done it for a Patreon early on,
I
but
don't
Patreon's
care.
gone. So we'll do...
I will review it once a year. Like I tried to squeeze in Hocus Pocus again this year, but you wouldn't let me.
So Plan 9 from Outer Space is actually going to have a 65-year anniversary
Yes.
next year. So we will...
1959, the year that brought us Ben-Hur and Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yes.
So,
What other years were 1953 to compare to? What won the Oscar in
From Here
1953?
to Eternity.
Wow.
It was a decent movie.
Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Julius Caesar, Disney's Peter Pan,
Yeah.
Tokyo Story from Here to Eternity, Roman Holiday,
Yes.
House of Wax,
Starlark 17.
Calamity Jane.
With Doris Day.
Yeah.
She dead? She will be now I've said her name. You know my curse is back.
Yeah, didn't you kill Michael Gambon?
No, I killed Cal Wilson. Allegedly. Not,
Oh, no.
not if somebody just flicked on and said that. That's not. It's a curse I have where I
I'm
watch
just going to
somebody in
highlight
something.
that for a TikTok.
Woo. And so I watch somebody in something and then they die. How long ago did I watch Friends?
Yeah, oh dear.
It was over a month
No,
ago.
they have to be old for your curse to be a thing. Anyway,
No,
let's
but even
move
the
on
young ones die, like
let's
Cal Wilson,
move on to something nicer.
Brittany Murphy.
So, all right, Plan 9 is coming next year, so be
Yep.
prepared for that. It is one of our favourites. So that's our top 5.
Yes.
It includes Flash Gordon, Batman and Robin, Sharknado, Robot Monster, and Plan 9 for me.
If anybody hasn't seen Plan 9, let me know. I'll come to your house and watch it with you.
If the Astor Theatre is listening, can we please have a double of Plan 9 and
Yes.
Robot Monster again?
Can we please get back the shit movies?
Yeah.
They got a bit too serious for themselves.
Well, now that they're owned by the Palace Cinema, they're basically like a big dendy.
Yeah, so my top 5 to recap is Spice World, Mummy Dearest, Batman and Robin, Robot Monster, and Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Fantastic.
What a list.
Great list. Lots of good watching there. Not really, but yes.
I think if my list shows me anything, it's that I need to watch more shit movies.
Let us know in the Facebook group what your favourite bad movie is.
Zombievers
And
almost
we
made
should
my
watch.
list.
Or Cocaine Bear.
Megan almost made my list. Cocaine Bear's funny, though. That's a good movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be
Good.
serious
No.
or good. Yeah.
It's not meant to be an actual horror movie about a bear that is on cocaine.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas
Kid's good,
Robot
though.
Monster is meant to be a sci-fi movie about an alien that's come from the moon or Planet Roman. Take your pick.
Any old people listening, if you went to see it in the cinema, was it scary?
Do you reckon it got released here?
Could have.
Do you reckon at the Sun and the
At the
Astor?
original Astor.
Gosh, I could just imagine the Astor screen with Slick Slavin on it.
Thanks for listening to another episode of To Drink Cinema. Next day,
Today
we are doing The Land Before Time. So stay tuned
Slightly
for
better
that.
movie.
And next week, we're doing something else. Shall we put that at the end of the Land Before Time episode?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening to this episode. Like and subscribe on the YouTube or subscribe on your podcast platform and leave us a rating and review. I'm looking for some reviews to read out on the podcast.
Yes, please.
So if you want to leave us a review, we will mention your name. That's it. Land Before Time coming up shortly. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Lee. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Two Drink Cinema. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcast, either leave the tip or become a member for early access to these episodes by using the link in the show notes.
Join the Facebook group for more chat about the movies we review and make sure you follow us on the socials to keep up to date.
Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your podcast app.
Happy viewing and drink responsibly.